Mama June Shannon expresses her candid opinions regarding Alana, Honey Boo Boo, Thompson's documentary. Mama June Shannon is expressing her candid opinions regarding her daughter Alana, Honey Boo Boo, Thompson's Lifetime documentary, I Was Honey Boo Boo. The reality television personality openly discussed the topic during an exclusive joint interview with Parade alongside Thompson and her daughters, Jessica Shannon and Lauren Pumpkin Efford, in celebration of the 100th episode of Mama June, Family Crisis. In Thompson's documentary, released in May, the Toddlers and Tiara's veteran discussed her ascent to fame and illuminated the more sinister aspects of child celebrity. Everyone believed I would be extremely upset about her actions, Mama June states. However, I responded, no, she accomplished it. It was her perspective, as I mentioned, and I was certainly not displeased by it. Observing that she found it really good, Pumpkin informs Parade, my sole criticism is that I believe they could have decelerated it slightly more, and simply afforded the opportunity to allow the narratives to unfold accordingly. I felt that it progressed somewhat rapidly. Aside from that, it is Alana's narrative, integral to her message, and reflects her perspective. For me, it represents a significant milestone in maturation and embracing one's narrative. Jessica states, she was able to convey her narrative independently, rather than through another's perspective. Pumpkin informs Parade that fans should anticipate a significant dose of reality in Season 7 of Family Crisis, which debuted on WeTV in May. I believe that for the remainder of the season, you will once again observe its true nature. Occasionally, individuals lack complete coherence in their lives, she elucidates. Occasionally, individuals lack complete understanding, and that is acceptable as it embodies the essence of family. Family is meant to provide support, serve as a community, and offer assistance. Consequently, I believe you will undoubtedly see that. She states, I believe you will observe some betrayal to a certain extent. I firmly believe that during the course of the season, individuals will acquire a distinct perspective. It had been a year since Alana relocated to reside with her sister Lauren Pumpkin Efford to evade the turmoil that had previously engulfed their household. Regardless of the distance she covered or her efforts to establish a conventional existence, the specter of Mama June Shannon overshadowed all aspects of her life. Alana had recently reached the age of 19, and life was beginning to coalesce into clarity. She intended to join in cosmetology school and had launched a modest TikTok beauty account that was gradually gaining popularity. Pumpkin was engaged in double shifts. Josh was assisting with the children, and their small Georgia residence was crowded yet tranquil. One night, a knock resounded at the door. Pumpkin opened the door warily, discovering June standing there, disheveled, with tears in her eyes and a suitcase in hand. May I enter? I have no other options, she said. Pumpkin faltered. Alana remained motionless in the corridor. It resembled the entrance of a specter. June asserted that she had departed from her new husband, Justin, upon uncovering his clandestine gambling activities that depleted their joint account. She was financially destitute, isolated, and embarrassed. I merely wished to rectify matters, she said to her girls during supper the following evening. However, Alana was not prepared to grant forgiveness. You consistently appear only when you require assistance, Alana retorted. What are the times I required your support, Mother? When I wept myself to slumber, contemplating whether you were under the influence or even alive. June experienced a breakdown. The damage was not solely emotional, it was also practical. June possessed neither financial resources nor employment and was now residing on the couch. It became known that Mama June was residing with Pumpkin. The paparazzi began to encroach. The girl's social media was inundated with vitriolic remarks, while others urged Alana to forgive and forget. Producers from WeTV became aware of the drama and proposed a new season, greater financial compensation, but increased visibility. Pumpkin desired to decline. However, due to accumulating bills, they acquiesced with reluctance. Filming resumed, although the cameras exacerbated the situation. Every utterance of Alana and June transformed into a headline. In a poignant moment, Alana addressed her mother on camera. You prioritize drugs over me. You permit men to speak to me disrespectfully. I have to cultivate my own independence, mother. I cannot simply activate a mechanism and refer to you as mom once more. June wept, claiming that this occasion was distinct. I have maintained sobriety for 9 months. I have lost everything, yet I have not relinquished my struggle for you. I am making an effort. As circumstances were stabilizing, a letter arrived in the mail. June's former spouse, Sugar Bear, was seeking full custody of Alana, despite her nearing adulthood. He aims to demonstrate that I remain unfit, June stated. He is exploiting my history to sever my last remaining connection. The courtroom conflict was public, chaotic, and distressing. Alana was compelled to testify. In a poignant moment, she addressed the judge. Although I am no longer a child, I have been shaped by suffering. My mother erred. However, she is present now. She is making an effort. I wish to determine the individuals in my life, rather than have that decision made by someone absent from the situation. The judge found in Alana's favor. She may stay with Pumpkin and visit June at her discretion. With the conclusion of the season, June commenced regular therapy sessions. She secured part-time employment and relocated to a neighboring tiny flat. Gradually, devoid of the scrutiny of cameras or legal proceedings, she and Alana commenced conversing, initially on a weekly basis, thereafter daily. It was not flawless. It was challenging. However, it was indeed authentic. For the first time in years, Alana felt empowered to declare, I remain ensnared in maternal turmoil, but now I have the opportunity to dictate the conclusion of the narrative. Nearly 2 years had elapsed since Lauren Pumpkin Efford last communicated with her mother, Mama June Shannon, devoid of animosity in her tone. The remnants of the past, betrayed assurances, legal complications, and public disgrace had never quite mended. Just as Pumpkin seemed there was a glimmer of hope, June committed the unimaginable act of reigniting her romance with Gino Doak. Everything collapsed on a tranquil Sunday morning in Georgia when Pumpkin received an anonymous notification from an intimate acquaintance. Your mother was observed with Gino last night, holding hands at the diner in Macon. Pumpkin's heart sank. She wished to think that her mother had transformed, that she had gained insight from the turmoil Gino introduced into their life. However, this constituted treachery. That afternoon, Pumpkin telephoned her sister, Alana, Honey Boo Boo Thompson. Are you aware that Mama has reconciled with Gino? Pardon what? Alana inhaled sharply. Are you earnest? After all that? All matters. That term carried significance. Gino had already been apprehended alongside June during their descent into addiction. Their relationship had resulted in the loss of custody, safety, and dignity. Pumpkin assumed legal guardianship of Alana, effectively rearing her while June succumbed to a tumultuous decline. The trauma of those years transcended mere tabloid sensationalism. It was their lived experience. Later that evening, June arrived unexpectedly to Pumpkin's residence, bearing flowers and her characteristic lopsided smile. Darling, I have come to converse. Kindly refrain from slamming the door this time. Pumpkin folded her arms. Her spouse, Josh, stood adjacent, arms crossed. The children engaged in play within, oblivious to the emotional turmoil awaiting at the front entrance. Have you reconciled with him? Pumpkin inquired immediately. This was not my intention, June lamented. He is endeavoring to improve. We're both. You deceived me. Once more. June attempted to advocate for her position. Gino is now abstinent. We are consulting with a counselor to address our issues. I desire to re-enter your life. The females. Alana. I wish to return. However, Pumpkin had previously encountered this tune. She gazed at her mother with anguish that had solidified into determination. If you associate with Gino, she stated emphatically, you are unwelcome in my life. Alternatively, in Alana's. Or in my children's. I am finished jeopardizing everything only to face disappointment once more. June's countenance deteriorated. Would you sever ties with me so abruptly? Negative, mother. You accomplished that. You choose him once more. Following all that we experienced. Alana emerged behind Pumpkin, her eyes wide and her voice trembling. You stated that we were your foremost concern. However, you are prioritizing a man who has caused harm to all of us. I can no longer continue either. June's lips quivered. She attempted to reach for her girls, but neither responded. Social media surged following the family's united statement. We cherish our mother, yet we have established boundaries to safeguard our tranquility. While she maintains her relationship with Gino, we cannot let her presence in our life. June subsequently provided an exclusive interview to a gossip publication, stating, I feel as though I am being penalized for attempting to love someone. However, fans were not convinced. Support for Pumpkin and Alana was abundant. Audiences had observed the family's hardships for years, and now they witnessed two resilient young women asserting themselves and advocating for their futures. Pumpkin reclined on the porch with Alana as the sun descended behind their residence in Georgia. Do you believe she will ever transform? Alana inquired. I am optimistic, Pumpkin responded. However, we cannot postpone indefinitely. Nevertheless, the camera focuses on the Georgia farmhouse, where tension is more palpable than the southern humidity. The living room is unsettlingly silent, interrupted only by the sporadic creak of the wooden floor. Within, Pumpkin perches at the couch's edge, her expression strained with exasperation and sorrow. Cradling baby Bentley in her lap, she readies herself to undertake an action she has suppressed for years. Mama June enters with excessive confidence, adorned with her ostentatious new eyelashes and freshly styled blonde waves, entirely oblivious to the impending upheaval in her life. Greetings, everyone, June exclaims, attempting to seem cheerful. I have provided refreshments. However, Pumpkin fails to raise its gaze. Please take a seat, Mother, she states icily. A discussion is necessary. June hesitates, perceiving an anomaly. What is occurring? She inquires, gradually taking a seat and setting the chips on the sofa table. Pumpkin inhales deeply. You have been absent for the majority of our lives. Each time you return, it results in disorder. Alana is now 18 years old, and you were absent during her high school graduation. I nurtured her. Josh and I did. Do you believe that purchasing food and creating TikToks resolves issues? June blinks, her smile dissipating. I am attempting, Lauren. I truly am. No, Mother. You are feigning effort. Pumpkin interjects, her voice trembling with emotion. You were pursuing Gino while we were at home, attempting to maintain familial cohesion. You abandoned Alana in her chamber, weeping night after night. You cannot return here and behave as if you are Mother of the Year. Alana, having eavesdropped from the hallway, enters silently. She is no longer the effervescent young honey boo-boo. She has matured, and her anguish is evident in her avoidance of eye contact. Mother, she states gently, I required your support during my experiences of bullying at school. I required your presence when Sugar Bear failed to contact me on my birthday. I required my mother, and you were absent. June gulps audibly. Her assured facade begins to fracture. I was unwell. I encountered difficulties, as you are all aware. Pumpkin rises, clutching her infant more firmly. Consequently, we incurred the consequences. Are you aware of something? I will no longer embellish matters. You are not permitted in my residence unless you can demonstrate that your intentions extend beyond seeking publicity, social status, or image rehabilitation. Alana does not require a part-time mother. She requires tranquility. June's eyes brim with tears, yet for once, she refrains from defending herself. She observes her daughters, simultaneously fragile and resilient. She comes to the realization that she may have irrevocably lost them. I cherish you all, she murmurs. The pumpkin acknowledges. Therefore, love us from afar until you are prepared to engage in the genuine effort. The door closes gently behind June as she steps into the pleasant evening air, solitary. Inside the house, Alana expresses her gratitude to Pumpkin, stating, Thank you for always being by my side. Pumpkin embraces her. I am always here for you. Nonetheless, the sun descended in the Georgia sky, spreading elongated shadows across the backyard where Alana, Honey Boo Boo, Thompson sat silently on the porch swing, manipulating the torn edge of her hoodie. The preceding years have been everything but ordinary. Amidst Mama June's legal issues, her rehabilitation episodes, Gino's detrimental influence, and the incessant media frenzy, Alana discovered a rare tranquility in the residence of her elder sister, Lauren Pumpkin Efford. However, today, an atmosphere of anxiety prevailed. Within the residence, Pumpkin anxiously paced in anticipation of the impending knock on the door. She grasped a manila packet containing formal custody documents. If Sugar Bear, Alana's biological father, consents, Alana would ultimately be legally placed under Pumpkin's supervision. That would signify stability, security, a forthcoming period. However, the inquiry was, would Sugar Bear endorse them? Sugar Bear arrived tardily, as anticipated. His formerly gruff visage had mellowed over time, although a familiar obstinacy remained in his gaze. He had accompanied his new wife, Jennifer, who stood behind him with her arms crossed and a pocketbook brimming with views. "I am uncertain about this," Sugar Bear remarked, regarding the envelope as if it were a time bomb. "I am her father." Pumpkin remained unperturbed. "You have scarcely been present. Alana need more than a designation. She requires an individual who is present." Jennifer interrupted. "He has made attempts, but you continue to exclude him." "No," Pumpkin retorted. "He exited. In the same manner as Mother did. I gathered the fragments." Alana advanced, her voice diminutive yet resolute. "I cherish you, Father, but Pumpkin has supported me when no one else did. I desire her to assume the role of my protector. Kindly." Sugar Bear scrutinized his daughter intently. The pageant beauty adorned in glitter and tiaras has vanished. This was an adolescent maintaining composure among turmoil. Time elapsed. Sugar Bear sat solitary on the rear porch, the envelope grasped in his hands. He contemplated the recollections, the dance performances, the pancake breakfasts, the television notoriety. However, he also contemplated the conflicts, the overlooked birthdays, and the parent he had failed to be. Upon Pumpkin's return, she remained silent. She placed a pen on the table. He gazed upward. "Will you make me one promise?" "What is that?" "Allow me to remain a part of her life. I own my error, yet I want an opportunity for redemption." Pumpkin acquiesced with a deliberate nod. "That decision rests with Alana. However, if you are earnest, make an appearance. Not verbally. Through acts." Sugar Bear grasped the pen. His hand quivered. He affixed his signature. Later that evening, Pumpkin and Alana nestled on the couch with baby Bentley and Ella, viewing cartoons. The atmosphere was buoyant, a blend of relief and tentative optimism. Alana inquired softly, "Do you believe he was sincere?" Pumpkin beamed and embraced her little sibling. "We shall see, dear. Regardless of the circumstances, I am here for you." Sugar Bear stood at the yard's perimeter, observing the warm light emanating from the window. For the first time in an extended period, he no longer perceived himself as the focal point of the narrative. He perceived himself as a man endeavoring to act justly. That may have been a beginning.